Welcome back to Amy's Adventures, and today I'm going to be putting 2 new fish in the tank. I went to a local lake, Cross Lake in Louisiana, and I caught a couple of more bass. Couldn't believe it. So we're going to put those in today. This is the first bass, and in he goes. Now, what I found was interesting is his stripe is not as pronounced, and I think it's because the water, it's murky in Louisiana. The top fish all came from Arkansas where the water's more clear, but here in Louisiana it's murky and dark, and I believe that's probably why. I'm sure once it gets in its clear water it'll probably get darker. These fish up here to the right came from Arkansas. They have a darker stripe and they're super aggressive. When I put food in, they just attack. Okay, now we're gonna put the bigger bass in. He's about 2 inches long. There he goes. He's gonna go behind that plant right there and then probably meet up with his other bass buddy from Cross Lake. Those 2 bass on the bottom are from the same place. I went to a boat ramp and was just scooping with my net and was just really trying to get minnows for feeding and caught these 2 bass, could not believe it. So they're down there at the bottom with the brim. All 3 of those fish came from Louisiana, and then the fish up to the right of the tank all came from Arkansas. The 3 bass from Arkansas are just absolutely vicious when I put food in, any kind of food. I had a couple of teeny little crawfish, they attacked them. The minnows that I scoop up at the local pond, they eat them immediately. The brim as well. But the 2 new bass haven't really taken to the food yet. I think it's just going to take them a day or 2 to adjust. But as you can see here, these bass really get around. There's the brim right there. She is doing great. She's a hybrid, I believe, because she's really unique. I'm going to post a picture, and if you think you know what kind of brim it is, please share below because I'd love to know your thoughts. That's one of the bass staring at the camera. Also, I use this stress coat when I put new fish in. It's from PetSmart, or you can get it at probably any other pet store. And then that top fin bacteria starter. Those are really good things to have when you start a tank or put fish in from a different environment. And one of the things you're going to have if you do decide to ever set up a tank and catch live bait is an aerator with a pump and also a net for scooping up the minnows. I have a long net as well. Another cool thing that we found while netting in Arkansas is white catfish. Now they're named white catfish because of their whiskers. They have white whiskers on the bottom. They start out black as babies and then they eventually turn into like a gray catfish. They look much similar to the channel cat, but these catfish prefer logs. I have them in a separate tank so that the bass don't mess with them. And if you look real closely on this, I'm going to slow it up in a minute, you can see they have white whiskers, which no other catfish has that. And that's how I was able to distinguish they were white catfish. Put some minnows in their tank, and they're just having a good time. They each have their own log, and there's 4 little white catfish all living in a 10-gallon tank, and they're doing great. They're about 1 inch long. And I'm going to slow it down here. If you look closely, you can see the little white whiskers, and that differentiates them between other catfish. One of the coolest things is I've been able to name the catfish because they always go back to the same log every time. That's Skipper that you see right there. And to the left of Skipper's Dipsy, she has her own log. And then Maverick and Phoenix have their own log. But this is Skipper eating right here. We've got Dipsy to Skipper's left. She has her own. And then Maverick and Phoenix are also in the tank. But catfish are bottom feeders, meaning they prefer to hunt for their food on the bottom of the rivers or lakes. So if you'll notice, Skipper's eating right here. He picks up a flake, I believe, in a minute. So he's got that flake in his mouth. Well, he doesn't like it, so he gets rid of it. He's looking for something else. Yesterday, while I was scooping at Cross Lake, I ended up catching 3 more tadpoles, and they're pretty big. I think they're going to be bullfrogs. And then I've got another one. That one up top is from Arkansas. These three down below are from Cross Lake in Louisiana. But what I found so cool about them was their coloring, and I'm gonna try to zoom in here. It's just hard to get a good view because this tank is kind of rounded. But if you will notice, these frogs, or soon-to-be frogs, have the coolest pattern. It's almost like a leopard pattern. You see it right there? And I'm getting a good zoom in right there on it. And I've never seen one like that. I'm just going to zoom up to this bigger one on the left and just show you once again the pattern that is on this frog is awesome. I'm just trying to get it focused right here. As you can see, it's just really awesome. Definitely check back with me in a couple days. Let's see how these tadpoles are doing, and I can't wait to watch them grow. The little brim I caught loves feeding time, and she usually eats before the bass can even get a minnow or the other food I toss in. She just attacks. I slowed it down right here, and you can see her come out of nowhere and grab this minnow. Hey, thanks again for stopping by. We talked about white catfish today. We talked about bass, brim, and tadpoles. We'll catch you next time on Amy's Adventures. Stay safe.